So I'm gonna make a Apex Legends Season 11 weapons tier list. This is according to my own opinion and the loadouts that I usually use, and the guns that I usually have the most kills with. So you can fight me on my opinion um, on the comment section. So we'll start first with the ARs, the flatline. This is my favorite, so I'm gonna put it on A tier. Does massive damage, um, medium range to close range. Um, if you master the recoil on long range, this is also a beast. But I won't. Well, I wouldn't say that I mastered the flatlines recoil because sometimes there are some bullets that don't hit my targets. But yeah, if this is the AR that I use the most, it's very good damage. Havoc, I would say without a turbocharger, D tier. It just takes too long to spin up before you fire your first shot. So by the time you peek and aim where your enemy is, you get shot first. So you're basically dead. But with a turbocharger, this Havoc I think has the fastest time to kill among all the ARs. So it would probably be on B tier. But by default, I'd put it on D tier. The Hemlock, I would say C tier. Um, it used to be really good, but I use the Hemlock with single fire now. I don't use the burst mode. Uh, it just spreads quite a lot, especially with moving targets. So it basically just for of the three bullets that it shoots out, it just hits one, or maybe it's just my aim. But I use it as single fire. It's got a good headshot damage multiplier. So if you hit your headshots, does it does decent damage, but it's not as good as the flatline. R301, the all reliable, of course, A tier. I'd compare it with the flatline. By comparison, the R301 is easier to handle. You can easily laser beam your opponents with a level 3 barrel stabilizer and level 3 stock, I guess. Does less damage in the flat line, but it's better than the flat line on mid range to long range. So I think they're both interchangeable, in my opinion. Let's go now to the Marksman. So the bow check, I would put on C tier. Without the dual shell, it takes way too long to reload, so your opponents can get to cover by the time you start firing your next rounds. With dual shell, it's really good. Probably be B tier. You can also use it as a shotgun if you have shatter caps. But it basically has the same damage as the EVA 8 up close. If you have shatter caps, it would be C tier. But generally, without those hop ups, I would say C tier or D tier. C tier or D tier. Probably middle ground. C tier. Bow check. I before it got nerfed, it was really good. Did 70 damage. But now it does 60 damage on full uh, a pull up, I guess you would say. Um, so it just takes too long for you to maximize its damage output. Um, you need to pull it all the way back to get 60 damage. If you rapid fire, or even with a tempo, just does 25 damage, I think. So it has very poor hip fire accuracy as well. So I'd put it on D tier. The Scout, even though it's a care package weapon, in my opinion, it's still A tier. Only because um, it it does heavy damage with your headshots, but it's still slow firing. Well, it's not slow firing. It's fast, but I don't usually like to use it, especially when in end game. So I put it on A tier. Although it's a very good weapon, but I'm not very good with it, so I'm gonna put it on A tier. It's definitely S tier technically, but just gonna put it on A tier. Triple take. Um, a lot of people use it. It's got very good damage. I think it's about 69 when you hit a choked body shot. Slow firing rate as well. And yeah, I would say it's B tier. It's really good. Medium range. Um, comes with energy ammo, so it's not too bad. B tier. Devotion. With a turbocharger, I would say B tier. Only because all LMGs take so much movement penalty when you ADS. Without a turbocharger, it's probably D tier. It also takes time to spin up. So if you're a spray and pray player, it's really good for you because it has a lot of bullets, tons of damage if you hit your shots, but very poor hip fire accuracy. Um, so yeah, I'd put it on D tier without the turbocharger. L star, probably C tier. They've nerfed it again. With the barrel stabilizers, I still couldn't control my recoil very well with the L star. Um, it does heavy damage. It slightly blinds your enemies when you fire at them, so it's hard for them to see you. But I don't like using the L star. It's really good because you don't have to reload. You just have to control your shots. Um, but I'd say it's still C tier because of the movement penalty that comes with it and very bad hip fire accuracy compared to the ARs, the Flatline and the Arturion, which have very good hip fire accuracy. So they're still very good to use in close range. Rampage, B tier. Um, with thermite grenades, A tier, because you can outplay those door users, knock the doors down, and then just beam your opponents. But without the thermite, probably B tier. Very good medium range weapon. Very accurate if you put a 3 times scope on it or 4 times. Just deals heavy damage to rotating opponents. Um, yeah, if you don't have mobile enemies like Pathfinder, Octane, or Ash, they couldn't come close to you with this weapon. Spitfire, obviously A tier, best LMG, care package weapon, deals massive damage, fast firing rate, fast time to kill, spray and pray gun. B20, obviously E tier, not much you can do with this weapon. Um, low magazine size, low damage. It's just trash. RE45, D tier. In arenas, first round, second round. Well, we're not talking about arenas, are we? But so I'm just gonna put it on D tier for now. Wingman, I would put it on B tier in my opinion. because I cannot hit all my shots with a wingman. And if it comes to the late game, if everybody has red Evo shields and purple shields, it takes a while. It has a low time to kill when you have a wingman. But mid game, early game, it's really good. Medium range, no movement penalty at all, so you can just dodge your enemies having to fire at you, but you have to be accurate with the wingman as well. So I put it in B tier. Shotguns, EVA 8, C tier. They've nerfed it, so it does have a slow firing rate now compared to the previous seasons where you have a level 3 shotgun bolt with 58 damage per shot if you hit your shots. Then it's very good. Um, but now it's C tier because they've nerfed it. Mastiff, I would put on B tier as well. But if it has the dual shell hop up, I would put it in A tier. Um, this is this does like 88 damage, I think, when you hit body shots. But if you have a purple bolt and dual shell, you can just spam your shots. A tier with dual shell, B tier without. Mozambique E tier, no questions asked. It does, I think, 45 damage when you hit your body shots, but it has very poor hip fire accuracy. Uh, yeah, it just deals not a lot of damage. It's just trash in my opinion. That's why you can buy it in arenas for 0 crafting materials. Peacekeeper, I think it's the best shotgun. Deals about 99 damage when you hit your body shots and more than 100 if you hit headshots. Um, yeah, so I think it's the best shotgun in the game at the moment, in my opinion. Yeah, but if I had to choose between a Mastiff with a dual shell, I'd choose a Mastiff over the Peacekeeper. Alternator, obviously S tier, care package weapon. Disruptor rounds, shreds the shields of your enemies. It's very good right now. But without the disruptor rounds, I would put it on C tier. But right now, it's a very good care package weapon. Car SMG, B tier for me because its recoil is worse than the R99. Um, the only special feature about it is you can interchange light and heavy ammo. So I usually don't pair SMGs with ARs anyway. I pair ARs with shotguns and SMGs with either snipers or marksman weapons. And I pair shotguns with LMGs. So car SMG. So I just take either heavy or light. And Prowler, I think it's not very good at the moment. C tier because although the burst, if you hit your burst shots, I think it does about 60 damage body shot. Um, it's not as good as it used to be when you had full auto mode, which dealt a lot of damage, fast time to kill. But now the time between bursts and it consumes a lot of ammo in between shots, so you have to reload as often. So I put it on C tier. R99 B tier. Same with the car SMG. It's got more, I think, a better recoil. Shreds your enemies if you hit your shots in one clip. But if you don't, then you're in trouble. So B tier. Volt SMG, I think is the best SMG in the game at the moment. I use it as an AR, comparable to the R301 and the flatline. Very easy to control, but it's not very useful in long range fights. But you can put a 2x on it, and it's very accurate. Even if you miss your shots, you still have that. You still have a few bullets to adjust your aim compared to the R99 and the car SMG. So I think it's better than both of them. Charge rifle. So this weapon is very annoying to play against because it just deals about 80, 90 damage if the enemy is standing still. So it's very good. I put it on B tier. In my opinion, it's the best ground loot sniper. Kraber, no doubt, S tier. One shot, headshot, your enemy's down. It could turn around end game fights real quick. So yeah, S tier. Longbow, I'd say D tier because they've nerfed it again. They've made it so that you hit 50 damage, I think. In between shots, it takes a long time, very slow firing rate. Actually, I put it on C tier because I think the Sentinel is worse than the Longbow. The Sentinel you can charge up with 2 shield cells, but it takes so long. By the time you charge your first shot, it's a bolt action rifle, so very slow. It's very slow, so when you hit your first shot, even with the amp damage, your opponent can just get to cover and recharge, and then you have to find them unless you have plenty of nades to throw at them. I think it's just a D tier at the moment. So that's my tier list for Season 11 weapons.